Hey, it's me, MLB. Here is chapter 9 of Cute Little Love Letters, and this one is titled Planting. You are ready for today, I see, your mum said with a smile as she placed some organic rolled oats with wild picked blueberries and mulberries on the table, as well as a big cube of honeycomb that had deliciously warm honey running from the cones. Your mouth started watering, and you took a seat and picked up a plate. Yes, I feel more than ready for today, you said with a smile as you served yourself some food. I'm sure it's the gemstones. Your mum smiled as she headed back to the oven to pull out some baked quinoa, raspberry and spelt flour muffins. You eyed them longingly as she lifted the tray out, and you went to shove the first mouthful of oats into your mouth. Ah, your mum chided quickly as she walked over with the muffins. Make sure you ask a blessing on your food. Your body is a temple. Health starts from within. Oh, yes, sorry, you said quickly, placing your spoon down in your bowl and then placing your hands either side of the handmade clay bowl and closing your eyes. It was hard to focus with the food right in front of you, but you did your best to imagine the food from the beginning of its life up until this point, the oat grains growing from small seedlings into mature plants, and then those who worked to pluck the grains and turn it into food that you had now. You then imagined your mum picking the blueberries and mulberries from the bushes deep in the forest behind your house and thought about the little insect bites that she may have had to endure just to bring you food. Just these two thoughts alone were enough to fill you with gratitude for the food before you, and you smiled as you opened your eyes. Thank you, Mum, for the food, you said gratefully, and she could feel that you really appreciated the meal that you were about to partake in. You're welcome, she said with a wise smile. May this food nourish you and keep you well and healthy, she added. Thank you, you said before shoving the first tasty spoonful of food into your mouth. You chewed on it, savouring the flavour before swallowing it down and getting your second spoonful ready. I really do enjoy your cooking, Mum, you said to her. The food at school isn't exactly bad, but it doesn't feel like it properly nourishes my soul. There are flavours in it that I've never tasted before, you said. Sometimes it just sits very heavy in my stomach and I feel tired. Most of the food at school would be processed, I assume, your mum said. I understand it would be difficult to make home-cooked meals on such a large scale, so I understand the convenience of being able to buy pre-made and pre-packaged foods, but it is sad that this is the case. If it's not too much trouble, you said cautiously, would you be able to make a bento for me to take to school? I would love to take your food to eat as well, as share some with my friends. Oh, I can definitely do that for you, my little beetle bug. I will see to it that you have something for tomorrow, she said with a smile. Really? You asked with delight. That would be amazing. Thank you, Mum. It's quite all right, my lovely. Now finish up your breakfast and get ready. You have a big day today, yes? Your mum said with a knowing smirk. I wonder if she knows, you thought, as you resumed your eating. After breakfast and brushing teeth, you got ready to leave and called out a goodbye to your mum and dad from the front door. See you this afternoon, your dad called back to you. Stay safe, my love, your mum called, and then you were off. It was only when you got closer to the school that you noticed that something was up. The streets were busier, there were reporter vans around, and when you got to the street that the school was on, you could barely see the school gates for the crowds. What on earth is going on? You wondered as you slowly approached the mayhem. You could hear reporters yelling questions and people shouting, so quickly activated your quirk and transformed into a fairy so you could fly over the ruckus and get into the school. Below you, as you flew over everyone, you could see some of the teachers trying to help students get through the gates so they could go to their classes, and you looked on curiously before getting inside the building and transforming back into a human. What happened? You wondered, when you felt the mood had turned very sombre in the school grounds. Kendo, you called when you saw her. What happened? Apparently villains came in through some kind of teleport warp gate and attacked the other hero class, 1A, she said with worry in her voice. I've heard they're relatively okay. No one died, but the teachers are pretty beat up. Oh no, you gasped. So what now? It sounds like they've got the school on lockdown or high alert or something, she mused. I'm sure our teachers will tell us what's going on soon. She was right. That day ended up being a pretty sombre day. There wasn't as much laughter in the halls and everyone seemed to be a bit subdued. You wondered if it was still okay to plant your little note, but then thought that maybe the timing wasn't so good, so kept a hold of it for a better time. The next day everyone was still a little on edge, and the day after as well. It was like that for a whole week before life started to come back into everyone's eyes. The halls had more laughter and carefree movement, and you felt like more positive energy was floating around. You had told your mum about what had happened and she had nodded, telling you it definitely felt like that's what she had felt from the energy from you that you brought home the other day. It was a good thing that you were in Class 1B. It was later on Wednesday afternoon that you decided to do your little note planting and waited outside the locker room until it was empty. If he's already gone home, that's okay. He'll find it tomorrow morning when he comes in, you thought, with one last look around before you activated your quirk and flew around the lockers and over to the one that you'd seen him at before. With a little squeeze, you managed to get up inside his locker and pulled the note from your pocket and placed it on top of his books in there. They weren't very neatly stacked, but you knew that he would see it. Okay, perfect, you thought with a nod as you made sure to place your hand on the small piece of paper to leave your print on it and then flew backwards towards the vent and squeezed out, knowing that once you were outside and deactivated, the paper would also return to its normal size. As long as you had touched the inanimate object with your hand, you could make it change sizes with you, but only for a time limit, of course, and within a proximity to you. Otherwise, random items would just constantly be changing size wherever they were, whenever you activated your quirk. Now back outside his locker, you deactivated and ran back to your own locker to get your things and go home, excited and in a little disbelief that you'd actually done it. Unbeknownst to you, Denki had been in the library with Kiri and Bakugo, getting books for an assignment. They were all done and now heading for their lockers. Dude, I just don't know if I'm cut out for this history class. Everything sounds like gobbledygook as far as I'm concerned, Denki sighed to Kiri, who was walking with him to his locker and stopped outside it. Don't worry, bro. You got me and Bakugo. Bakugo's super smart. He'll be able to help, Kiri said encouragingly. Does he want to help? That's my question, Denki sighed, unlocking his locker and opening the door. He almost didn't see your note at first, but then he saw it and realised that this was something new. He hadn't seen a piece of paper on his books before. What's this? He asked as he pulled it out and started reading. You're my favourite daydream? What is it, bro? Kiri asked as he leaned in to read the piece of paper. Did someone put that in your locker? Yeah, Denki said with confusion. But was it meant for me? Well, it's in your locker, isn't it? Kiri asked. Yeah, but who wrote it? Denki asked, looking at Kiri. I don't know, man, Kiri asked, but it sounds like someone likes you. Wow, seriously? Denki asked with sudden excitement. Me? Someone likes me? Yeah, Kiri said enthusiastically. That's cool, but who? Denki then asked, a little crestfallen that as he turned the paper over and over but couldn't find a name or any other info. I don't know, man, Kiri said again with furrowed brows. Denki hummed. Oh, and there is the end of chapter 9. Stay tuned for chapter 10 coming tomorrow. I'll see you then.